What's going on, guys? What's cracking in the garage, per usual. Got a couple things here today. Finished up a lot on the MR2. Today, I actually got in from KEYSTONE Motorsports. Jose from KEYSTONE sent me a new, or Kaizen, however you say it properly, he sent me a new cover because I'm going to be removing that one, hanging this one up, I guess, up on the wall. I think it'd actually be cool, like, hang it like right there, or if I could get it, or pull up there somewhere like that, hang it. I don't know, I think it'd be cool, but got a new one because since that's so custom painted, I didn't want to respray it again in case I do want to sell it or do something with it. So I got another one. Again, big shout out to Jose for that. I'm going to paint this the same color as the calipers on my car. I want some of the pop because I am going to be painting or powder coating everything in the engine bay. Everything is going to be black now. So the turbo housing, intercooler pipe, if you see it, it's going to be black. The catch can, everything's going to be black besides the actual engine bay itself. So it's going to be very dull, in my opinion. It's going to be very blah. So I need something when you walk by makes it instant pop. You need to see something. The silver worked, but I like the camo, but I didn't. So I want to try this blue. It's called Grabber Blue, I believe, from the Mustang, the late model Mustangs. And from what I've seen, it looks almost identical to this bright ass blue. Now, if I don't like it, it is what it is. I can put the other one back on. That's kind of nice having that. But to do that, because I have the OCD Works covers, if you guys can see here, these covers are a little bit thicker. You can actually see where the old cover was rubbing here and rubbing there. So I have to make some trim adjustments to make this fit on these OCD Works covers, which is no big deal. It's just plastic. It's no big deal. All I have to do is flip this around here. Right here, I need to notch this out some, and then over here, I take out this whole piece right here. So from here to here, I just notch that out completely. I'm just gonna use my Dremel. Let me go grab that. Just gonna use this Dremel here. I've used this, before I had a grinder or anything, I use this for everything. I've got a couple attachments, which I hear somewhere. Here they are. Here they are. Use these little attachments here to help Dremel out, if I can find it. And then there's like little sanding attachments. Like this one here is a little sander. These little sanding attachments here are then attached to the Dremel, and they work really freaking well. I'm just going to use this, knock off those edges, pretty much mimic what I did on that one, except do it smoother. I really chintzied that one, I really did shitty, so take my time and do this right. You can actually see on this one, see how chewed up it is, and on that side too. See how chewed up it is, it wasn't done properly. I'm going to take my time this time around and really just smooth everything out and make it look right. Alright guys, so I finished up trimming that there and on that side. So this is all done now. I just talked to Travis Beaver, my auto body guy. He said that he can get to it around Tuesday, so I'm going to drop it off then. He's at an NHRA race event right now, which I myself should actually be at, but unfortunately there was an event today. I shouldn't say unfortunately, there was an event today I was supposed to go to. As beautiful it is today, it looked really bad from the forecast, so they canceled a little preemptive, kind of shouldn't have done that realistically now, but it doesn't matter to me, it is what it is. So they canceled the event, so I've been stuck here and I'm doing this kind of stuff, but now I'm going to take that for a drive. I wanted to let you guys know I did put the new OS Geiken fluid in it. Got to drive it the other night and it fixed it. It finally fixed the issue. No more clunking, no noise, nothing. It drives like glass, so extremely happy with that. Extremely happy with the way the MR2 came out also. After it's all said and done here, I'm really happy with all this now. The new stainless intake, everything just looks polished and clean. Now when I do the new setup and I do the new turbo kit, I'm not sure if the brace can stay. He said it does sit up pretty high, so the brace might not be able to work. I'm going to try and get it to fit, but if it doesn't, it'll be one of those it is what it is kind of situations. I gained a ton of room over here though by getting rid of the charcoal, getting that neck installed. Just way more room for activities. Next thing I need to do is that little, we can see it right here, that little hose there, I want to reroute it. It comes from the water neck there. They make a kit from TCS that reroutes it straight down so it doesn't go over then down, because the stock air box is why they had it that way. So it'll get rid of all that and it'll look a little bit cleaner even yet. I'll probably do that once I yank the motor. I'm not going to do it with all in, just too much of a pain. Once I yank the motor, and I'll clean up even more things, but the more I remove while the motor's in, I don't know why, it's like a mental thing, the more I'm like, okay, the motor's still running, so I don't need this. Take this out. Okay, the motor still runs, everything's good. Don't need this, don't need this. When the motor's out and I start removing stuff and I go to put it back in, always like, I hope everything still works right. I removed all this other stuff that I think isn't supposed to be there, so that's where I start to worry at times. So bumping through some trippy red right now. Just got to the gas station here. I gotta put some gas in the tank. Running a little low. I did that, guys, by the way, if you saw the last video, I actually did fix the fuel level sender. It was actually moving around so much it was getting stuck or hung on something, I'm assuming. So by moving it and straightening it back out, tightening that ring down, it actually fixed the issue. So my fuel level sender is working again because of all of that. And the other reason I was like kind of freaking out about it was the fact that, I'm gonna pull this out because that's dinging, was the fact that if you does go bad, or if that gets toasted, you're fucked. For lack of better words, you're fucked. There's no way to really fix that, and they don't make it from Toyota anymore, so you're kind of stuck. I don't know if anyone has a fix for that yet or not. If they do, please guys let me know down below so I can share that for everybody, but I don't know of any at this time. So I'm super excited right now. Got the new wheels, and if you can see them, they're right behind me here. I'm not gonna try and cut this to like, oh, I'm gonna hold, no, I'm just gonna show you. So I test fitted these wheels a while back. My buddy Matt drove the whole way down from Allentown and brought his bronze set down. These are in the matte gray color that Koenig offers. I'm gonna go over the exact details here, but you know what, let's go ahead and start with the exact details of the wheel specs, and I'll go over everything else here next. So here is the rear and then a front. Now the other two are obviously on the car, but what I went with is a 17x9 rear plus 40. They didn't offer a plus 35, what I wanted. Then the front is a 17x8 plus 35, which is exactly what I wanted. The rear tire is a Yokohama S-Drive and a 255/40/17. The front is a 215/40/17 Yokohama S-Drive also. My one friend, Zach Klopper, works for Mr. Tire, and he recommended these tires, said they're pretty good for all-around tire, for performance and for grip. They do a pretty good job. I'm pretty happy with the way they look also. They have a square sidewall. They kind of stick past the lip ever so slightly, kind of like my Nitto NT555s did. So I'm really happy with the way these look. They just need, you know, scrubbed and cleaned up a little bit, but I like the finish a lot. For a Koenig wheel from back when I used to think of Koenigs, from back when I was younger and a kid in the early 2000s, Koenigs were really chintzy wheels, but these new Flowform wheels look nice, and I'm really happy with the finish. I thought the finish was going to be very, like, poor, but the finish is actually, it's actually quite good. Even inside the barrels and stuff, they didn't skip on powder coat or anything. I'm quite impressed with these. But let's, you know, get away from me talking. Let's go ahead and get this on the car, and then I'm going to go over some more things with the big brake kit and how they fit, so you guys can get these too. All bolted up now the whole way around, so next up I'm just going to drop it here. Again, I'm on stock suspension with some Kone yellow adjustables, so nothing crazy. It's not going to sit real low. I do need to throw on coilovers on yet. Just been slacking with all of it. I've been focusing on the Supra. Having multiple cars does get quite expensive, so I'm just going to drop it here quick and just see what it looks like. Try to take it around the block too, see if it feels any different or rides any better. These tires should ride good, and these tires should be fine too, or these wheels should be fine also. So back out here now, I pushed the car and I drove the car outside here real quick just to get a better perspective of it. I'll be honest, the wheels in video look like hell, but in person, I really, really, really like these. And now look, guys, they don't stick out. They're perfectly flush now. Again, this is a plus 35 offset on Yokohama tires. Plus 40 in the rear, I could probably get away with, I would say, a 5mm spacer. Yeah, I'd get away with a 5mm spacer easy. If not, I could even go maybe into a plus 5 and run like plus 30 offset. Like I said before, I was running plus 22. And in my opinion, if I had a little bit of camber in the rear, it'd have been fine. But with this, I might just run a 5mm spacer to get a little bit more flush, and I think I'll be pretty happy with it. But I'm gonna go take it for a drive here, see if it rides better. The old wheels had like tire shake. I don't think they were mounted properly, and these ones look a lot better. So hopefully they're mounted correct. All right, guys, now that I've shown you the wheels in the MR2, next up is the Supra. So I wanted to get this buttoned up before Bear Mountain. It goes tomorrow, or actually I gotta drop it off tonight to get aligned. I'm gonna put springs or coils on it as soon as I get back. I don't know yet. I mean, I can get like a dealer discount. I can get springs for it for less than $200, and I can put them and install them myself and get it all taken care of, and it will give it the exact height I want. Unlike the Supra, where I'm real like uber picky and like there's no real springs for that. A set of springs for this will actually drop it perfectly, and I'll be able to keep my stock perches and all that stuff, which I kind of like because it keeps it from clinging and clanging. And it'll give me the look I want. It'll drop it about 1.5 inches in the front, which I'm told it actually drops a little bit more than that, so it's pretty well flush. Gives me that lowered look I'm looking for, and it gets rid of that monster truck look. But enough of this. It's time to work on this. Now this is going back up in air for a multitude of things. One is to start looking at how I'm going to route the wiring. I'm consulting my friend buddy Twan. He's known as Supra biologist on Supra forums. I've known him from the SF days and so on and so forth. He has helped me a ton. Super nice guy also. I can't actually really say enough good things about him. He's just a super nice guy. I finally got to meet him last year at Cruise Week. Just a good guy all around, but he's been helping me a ton, kind of figure out, because he's like me in the fact that like he sees somebody does it and he's like, that wasn't perfect. I like what it did, but it's not perfect. He's always trying to go that next step to see what's the perfect way to do something. That's why I really like him, and we kind of meet eye to eye for the most part. He's gone through more exhaust than anyone else I know for a Supra. He is constantly changing them out, trying to find that perfect one. So that's what giving me ideas for this right now. But the real reason I'm jacking it up is to get all the intercooler piping off. Turbo's got to come off, catch can's got to come off, cold or hot side intercooler piping's got to come off. And is there anything else? Oh, I just dropped off the new spark plug cover over at Beaver's Auto Body to get painted, because all the intercooler piping is getting cut and re-welded so it fits a little bit better, and it's getting all painted gloss black along with the turbo and everything else, because I want this car show ready. Yes, you can make fun of me, whatever, but I want it car show ready. Another thing I'm going to do is shorten up this pipe some. Not shorten it that way, but this way. So you can see how close it is here. Trying to get this coupler, I mean, it's smashed up against this too. I mean, there's no room in there. It needs to be cut and re-welded. So I'm literally gonna take off maybe 1 inch, 1.5 inches off this way. After seeing a couple Supras this weekend, I realized that, man, my piping really needs to be redone. TJ Minnick know I need it redone. I'm going to take some measurements here and hopefully I do it right. That's a good thing with couplers. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room. Like I said, it's smashed up right now. If I don't even have it there, I can pull this down a little bit. Gives myself wiggle room. So one thing I do really like about couplers over, say, like the bolt-on style, that literally gives me about 1 inch of play, if not even more. So let's go ahead and get this thing up in the air, and I'll shut up and quit talking now. And again, I really do need to get a lift. I know, I'm slacking. It's coming. I'm going to get one. It's just money, man. I told you guys I'm a regular guy. I really don't make any money. I think last month I made I think it was like $120 off YouTube total, and that's not taxed yet. So it really is nothing anymore. I mean, think about it, nice dinners anymore, it'll cost you $100. So realistically, what I make on YouTube is pretty much null and void more. I do this legitimately for fun. Why? Not really sure, but I do. And I hope you guys enjoy the content, because there's really no purpose besides making it for you guys anymore. So, hope you enjoy it. Bumping little Peep right now. Always bumping. Can never have not music. I should say, can never not have music. Anyways, so car's up in the air now. I'm going ahead and taking off these T-bolt clamps right now, which I need to switch these over to worm style clamps, or gear style. But if you guys can see here, see how close that is? Trying to get this off, I'm gonna hit this, which you don't want to scratch this up. This should be much shorter. I did have a picture, maybe I'll flash it up here if I do still have it, but I'm gonna cut it down here, have this go in, like I said, about another inch, and that inch will give me room. I've got plenty of room here. Now down below, if you guys can see, the last fabricator, if you can see there, ran it up in between, which if you think about it, seems like a great idea. And you're like, you know what, that's awesome. Problem is, when you're trying to feed up piping, you've got to try and feed it through that hole, which does not work out well at all. So I need to figure out a new method and move all that piping. All right, so I've got this top piece off. I've been cutting, or not cutting, but measuring and checking things. Right now, it looks like I need to extend it down about 4.5 inches to get it to sit below. If you look here, I want to run the pipe underneath all the AC stuff, which sits just above the tow hook here. So if I do bottom out, it'll still hit the tow hook first before it completely smashes the intercooler piping or anything like that. And the intercooler piping sits a good way back yet too. So just, I don't know.
None of this makes me really happy. The AC stuff is still kind of in the way. There's no good way to really run this now. I can see where people get frustrated with all this and they run into issues. Now my hot side here, I'm gonna have to leave it the way it is. One thing I've always hated from my intercooler piping, just the way this manifold's designed, the way we had to clock the turbo and everything when they welded that, is this number one runner kind of screws up everything, so my turbo can't turn straight down. So it's really tight in here, so they have that piece coming off, and then we have to use a 90-degree coupler, and I absolutely hate 90-degree couplers. If you're gonna have a failure, that's normally where it's gonna be. Usually is a blowout in the back. With me running low boost right now, it's not an issue, but later on in the future, it's going to become my weak point, period, end of story. I know that's where it's going to eventually fail at. All right, guys, so went ahead and got off the cold side piping, and I got off the turbo cover. One thing I noticed, it was actually rubbing against the manifold some here. Yeah, I'm not sure. So let me go over here and show you on the car itself. It's never done this before, but I guess I had it literally resting against the manifold this time around. And if you guys can see, right there, that's like aluminum. It's literally aluminum welded to the manifold from heat. And all the years I've had this manifold for 3 years, and a turbo sitting like that, I've taken off multiple times. It's never done that, so I must have literally had it up against it, and it finally did that. So I just know this next time I have to caulk it maybe 1 to 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters to keep it right off the manifold, not enough that it's resting on it. But even still, after all that time of driving and everything, that's all it did. Isn't all that bad, but still something. But that's all off. I'm not gonna do the catch can for right now, just because I know I have another one made here. I'm not sure if the next person will want it powder coated. So I'm just gonna leave it as is, leave it raw, and I'll get another one made here shortly, but that'll be easier to move. Hell, it's only one bolt and there's two AN fittings there. So I'll get a new one designed up, and then I'll have it powder coated separately. Plus it'll be easier for the fact that there will be no oil in it. To do it properly, you have to outgas everything, and to get all the oil out of that would be next to impossible at this point. So I'm not gonna mess with that. I'm just gonna leave it be. All right, so now I've got all the piping off. TJ just picked up all the piping to go get it welded, so everything's off now. Went ahead and took the battery out also. Here's the IET wire that used to be up top here. It used to be at this sensor right here. I now rerouted it down below because it's gonna be sitting somewhere about here. Sucks it's slightly short, so I'd have to extend it. But Jose from KEYSTONE was kind enough to send me, where's that, some wiring here. Texted me and said, hey man, how long do you need it? And I was like, let me go measure it. And he's like, all right, I'll send it to you. I said 12 inches to be safe, which obviously you see that's more than I need, because I was going to cut, splice, and make it work. He's like, nah, just make it plug and play in case you want to switch back or there's something that changes. He's like, you can just disconnect this. Give me all the extra connectors just in case. Like, just dude, an all-around nice guy. He just sent this to me to help me out. Like, something a shop does not have to do, and he does it. I always labels it, which I like too, so it also says air temp on it still, just like the other one did. So now I just need to plug it real quick, and I'm good to go. Just plug it in and I should be fine. All right guys, so this is a hodgepodge of a video. I know it's like multiple pieces there, all pieced together, but the pipe is already done. TJ got back with me, welded on the new bung for the IAT sensor, and extended the pipe so it sits on there properly. So instead of going through like it was before, it sits under it now, so I don't have to try and feed it through, and it always got caught, and it just never fit right, and it was always a PETA or pain in the ass to do. That fits properly. Still sits just, if you look here, it sits just above this. It's hard to tell, but it sits just above this piece here. So if I do hit a bump, well, it'd have to slam down pretty hard to smash this to get that smacked up. But yeah, pretty happy with the way this turned out. Actually, I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Next is to drop these off at powder coat. Brad Decker in Chambersburg is gonna actually be doing the powder coating on these. He was highly suggested by a bunch of people locally, so I'm gonna give him a try. He said he could do it easily, so hopefully it turns out nice. Pretty excited to get this all gloss black. He's also going to ceramic coat that. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that. Like I said, this has been multiple days pieced together for this video. But all right, take it back off now, and it's time to move on. I went ahead and got the harness pin now. It took me forever. That one Toyota pin that was in there was being a pain in the ass. So I had to T-pin it and repin it and use this new Toyota connector thanks to KEYSTONE Motorsports, or Jose. I think you guys by now know it's Jose who always sends me this stuff and hooks me up and deals with my dumbassness, or I know that's not a word, but he's the one that's always helping me in figuring shit out. So just threw in the Odyssey battery, which they did tell me it might be smaller, and they were right. So like a factory battery would sit like that high, and on top of, you guys can see here, it should sit back here. So it's a lot smaller, even though this is considered a full-size battery. And on top of that, it actually has more cold cranking amps than a full-size battery, which is nuts. These Odyssey batteries are definitely worth every penny they ask for. They're a little bit more money, but they're definitely worth it.
I don't like the fact that the top is red because I have this whole black theme going, so that's why I kind of want to get it in the back too. But I'm happy to have it in the car now. So let's go ahead and pull the intercooler piping back out and then get this off the powder coat. Last thing I forgot to do, guys, I need to get this exhaust housing off. As you can see, it's all rusty. I'm having that ceramic coated black. I want to leave the manifold, and even though it's starting to rust and stuff too, I kind of like being able to see the welds and everything. The downpipe, same thing, because, well, it's pie cut. But I am going to do that just because, well, it's cast and it's starting to really, if you can see, really rust and just look like shit. The guy I'm taking it to, Brad Decker, actually ceramic coats also, so he said he'd just do that too, so which makes it kind of nice for me. So I just got to rip this off. I'm going to take the downpipe and the O2 sensor off here and then drop it. Makes it nice when you only have V-bands to deal with. Well, one other thing I have to do though, down below here, I need to take that V-band off first. I'm going to hold the pipe up with my jack here to make this even easier. Well, it wouldn't be working on cars if you didn't get a stuck bolt. So I've got the bolt off here, 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 and then of course the only bolt that you can't get an impact to, turn this light off so this autofocuses, that is back behind here, so the V-band goes over top of it. The only bolt you can't get to is stuck right now. I got it so far and it's like wedging itself. You can tell it's stripping. And I can't even like power it off. I've got to get a regular wrench on it, and it's stuck. Like it's stuck. I can't even. I don't have enough oomph in my arm to get it out right now. So a little frustrating. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I'd like to get it off, but also don't want to snap it inside my nice manifold either. Yeah. So it's kind of a catch-22 here. Or actually, even if I snap it, I can drill it out, tap it out, do whatever. But as of right now, I can't even, I mean, it's stuck. I'm going to be trying to get the Dremel in there and cutting it off, get the turbo off, and then I guess drill it out the rest of the way. I don't know. This is the fun part of working on cars that people never talk about, and I try to show you guys. It's all not all rainbows and butterflies and going fast. This is the kind of shit you run into. Shit welds itself together, rusts itself together. So this is what you run into and the shops don't tell you about, or everyone's like, oh, everything's perfect. No, it's not rainbows and fucking butterflies all the goddamn time. All right, guys, with that being said, thank you very much for tuning in today. I'm gonna let this thing sit for right now. I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. Dumb stuff like this comes up, but I think this was a pretty good video. I got a bunch of stuff in. There's more to come. I've got the MR2 meet coming up. Thank you guys very much. Do me a favor, go down below, check the Facebook, Instagram, website. You know what to do. Thank you guys very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.